Thank you to all my channel members, including my fan appreciation level members and my contributor level members, for helping support the YouTube channel.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my book review of the book The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. This is the first book in the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. I picked this book up because another book reviewer, booktuber named William Dozier, actually recommended it in one video. He specifically mentioned it as being a good winter read. And so I was thinking of books to put on my winter list, and I saw this at the bookstore for a very reasonable price. So I picked it up. I knew it was going to be a very different style for me, but you know, I'm always willing to reach out and read new types of stories. So I picked up the book, and people actually, some of my friends online warned me. They were like, "Good luck, you're gonna need it," and I'm like, "Oh dear, what am I stepping into?" The book is essentially a mystery thriller. The primary part of the book is a mystery about the murder / disappearance of one member of the Wonger family in Sweden. And the Wonger family is this powerful, wealthy family, and you know, like, it's supposed to be like 25 years earlier. This girl on this random day just kind of went missing, and it's virtually impossible for her to have just like left. So the question is, who murdered her and how did they murder her is basically the question behind the book. And so you have this reporter who is this business journalist. His job is to look into business journalism, but he just lost a huge defamation case basically, and so he is just trying to figure out what to not defamation, I think it's libel, but whatever. He's trying to lay low, and he gets offered this big high-paid job by the elder of the Wonger family named Henrik to go and figure out what happened to his family member who went missing. So the whole book, you're in this part of Sweden, on this island that this family controls, and they're trying to figure out the mystery of what happened to the girl. Was she murdered and then they got rid of the body? Did they sell her off? What happened to the girl? That's the crux of the book. But there's also this kind of secondary plot about this girl named Lisbeth Salander, who is she works for this security company, and she's like a hacker, and she writes up information on people, and she has kind of a subplot where she ends up joining the mystery and the search for the missing member of the Wonger family. But Lisbeth is also got kind of a vendetta of her own to try to get out from the control of the social worker who has her finances tied up, because apparently the government has ruled that she can't have control of herself, so she has to meet with this social worker who is a disgusting individual. And this book deals with some difficult themes. This book deals with themes of rape and abuse and all sorts of awful things. And so the book, in some specific places, particularly in the social worker scenes, are hard to read. I mean, they are hard to read. But I think that some of the themes in the book are quite interesting because it shows kind of this resilience, this ability to move forward. I think that Lisbeth certainly can be a source of hope for a lot of women who have gone through some things, and kind of she provides, I think, a catharsis for a lot of people. However, when I was, buying the book and reading reviews, everyone was talking about how awesome Lisbeth is, and they were trying to make it out like the book's all about her, of course, because she's the girl with the dragon tattoo. She's not in the book that much. She's the secondary character. She's right, like, in terms of page count, she gets, right behind the main character, Blomkvist, but it is certainly Blomkvist's book. He is the investigative journalist, Michael Blomkvist, however you pronounce it. He is the main character for the majority of the book. He is the major POV. Salander is there, and she interacts with him and interacts with others, and she's present a lot of the book, but she's not a main character by any means. It really is Blomkvist's book, and I've heard that the sequels feature more of Solander than they do of Blomkvist. But there's a lot of that mystery going on. There's also the mystery of the finances stuff that I mentioned about the whole libel defamation case, and then there's also the whole mysteries around the companies that the Vonger family has, and it's just a very fascinating, multi-layered plot. In fact, because it's so multi-layered, there were multiple times I thought I had reached the climax of the book and was about to read the denouement. And then the book reached another climax, and then it went to, and I thought, all right, well, we got to go to the denouement. 3 times I thought I was in the climax of the book because the way it was built up, I was like, this has to be the climax, the major event happening. And then, nope, that's just the denouement. Or it's not the denouement, it's just another climax. And so that was a very interesting way of writing. I don't know whether I loved it or didn't like it. It's very interesting to tell. But the book did keep me on the edge of my seat. Now, there's one thing in here, and part of this is world view difference between me and other readers and writers, but this is, in particular, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, that it seems as if Stieg Larsson just wanted his main character, Blomkvist, to just be this kind of James Bond character who can just turn on any girl that he sees. There are multiple women who end up going to bed with Blomkvist in this book, with literally one of them, it is literally within like minutes of him like interacting with her, and he's not even intending to do it. It's just she just throws herself at him, and it's just so interesting that he chooses to write the characters not just with that kind of loose morality, which I understand other people have different morals than I do, so I'm not going to harp on that too much, but that he would just purposefully make his main character just so appealing to just like everyone, to all women, and it's just like they're all throwing themselves at him, and it just seemed a little unrealistic, and it seemed a little like he was just kind of wanting to write kind of male fantasy stuff in here, and that's just not the type of thing I want to read in my books, and I know that's a lot of things that some of my viewers don't particularly love to read in their books either. The mystery itself was fantastic. I was all in it. I wanted to know who knew what. I thought that the solution to the mystery I thought was really ingenious. I thought that the whole family intrigue and the political stuff and like all the fallout of the financing, and also the whole getting into the financing of the firm really reminded me of reading a John Grisham book, of them trying to figure out, okay, the firm's going to go under, we need to get financiers and stuff, and just the way that was written really reminded me of John Grisham. And also funny, most of my John Grisham books are tall rack mass markets, so like they're a little bit taller than your average mass market. Like you see another mass market here, it's a little tall rack, and this is tall rack as well, so maybe that helped with my association. But I think Stieg Larsson's writing style seems to be like a blend of, when it was talking about the whole business stuff, it was a lot like John Grisham. When we were dealing with the murder mystery, it actually did in a few ways remind me of standard murder mysteries like Agatha Christie's. But the whole Lisbeth Salander stuff was the left field, very feminist-oriented storytelling that was, I don't know if I've read much of that particular type of style, so I don't have anything to compare it to. But it was still really enjoyable. I had a blast with the book. There were, of course, certain scenes that are super hard to read. Again, there's some... I'm not the biggest fan of trigger warnings, but there's appropriateness warnings for this book. And then also, there's just some worldview stuff I disagree with. But from an enjoyability standpoint, I had a blast reading it. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. Like, it's a pretty fun book. It's a pretty interesting mystery. I was hooked the whole time. It never felt boring for me. So that's my review of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. If you've read this book, let me know your thoughts. What'd you think of the mystery? What'd you think of all the elements I talked about? And until next time, I'm Jonathan. And thank you for watching.